we're talking about the Texas rig. My name's Wes Littlefield with YourBassGuy.com. I'm going to tell you when to fish it, how to fish it, what all plastics you can use, everything that I know about the Texas rig. Let's get started. The Texas rig is another rig that you can find actually down in our description. We have a PDF that you can download on how to tie 7 of the best rigs. It's definitely worth a download, so go down in the description and check that out. But the Texas rig is extremely effective for catching bass, especially when they're feeding down. You know, you can, I guess, really swim the bait fast, but a Texas rig is designed to fish on the bottom. That's why you've got the weight and everything. So today we're going to talk about a few of the different situations you should use it in, as far as it's not a great bait for lure for fishing like grass. Now you can, especially if you can see here, if you bury the hook into the body of the plastic, makes it less likely to snag in grass, so you can use it. But I tend to find that, you know, fishing along the edge of grass is best. The Texas rig is one of the most effective ways to catch fish, and it's really simple to rig. So we're going to start off by rigging it, and then we're going to talk a little bit about actually how to fish it, where to fish it, and all that fun stuff. So one of the reasons that the Texas rig is so effective is because it's extremely versatile. You can literally use just about any soft plastic and Texas rig it, and it's deadly wherever, all across the country. Another reason is because you can use so many different soft plastics, but also you can use so many different hooks. You're not limited to just one. Any worm hook will do, and you're not limited to just one weight. You've got basically an endless amount of weights, whatever, and you can even fish it weightless if you wanted to. And I consider a Texas rig with a weight though, but you can also fish these wacky rig, and we actually did a video recently on the wacky rig. If you wanted to check that out, you can check out this info card right here. But now with the Texas rig, we're gonna rig it. Like I said, it's super simple to rig. So I've got some fishing line here that you can see, and I'm gonna take, ow, that hook is sharp, and I'm gonna take this worm hook, and I like these because I'll show you here in a second. And I'm just gonna tie a regular fisherman's knot. It's an easy knot, one of my favorites to tie just because it's quick and easy. Wet the line down, come through the loop, leave some tag in, cinch it down, alrighty. And now you can take this one and twist it all the way in there, just like that. So now I can actually come through, and I come all the way through and make sure it's straight. It looks straight. And now I'm going to poke in there just like that. That way when the bass bites it, it's gonna rip and come out and set the hook. But if I get into some weeds or something, they're gonna go right over the top. That's how you rig it, without a hook, without a weight. Let's rig one more. I'll show you guys one more. Like I said, I consider a Texas rig weighted, but that doesn't mean that you can't, especially like this specific soft plastic, this big worm. I do fish these a lot weightless because they are just so heavy. So now we'll rig it one with a weight, just to show you how quick and simple it really is. This time I'll do a little bit different hook. This is just a flipping hook. And we'll go, I'll just do the light, small little weight. I always start with the lightest weight and then work my way up. unless I know I'm going to be fishing deep. So you're going to slide the weight on there first. I don't think I got that one on camera very well. Slide the weight on there, and it should, if you have a bullet weight like this, the tip points up, and you'll see why here in a second. Once again, tie a fisherman's knot, come through, cinch it down. I usually wet it, but for this demonstration I'm not going to. I'll wet it, clip it, clip it pretty close, that way it doesn't get in the way. Now we're going to come through here. For some reason I always hold it upside down. It helps me. Push it a little bit more where it starts to bend. Come back up through. We'll see, that's too much. Yes, way too much. So let's come back down. And just come through right there. Now past it. Let's hook, there we go. That's gonna look good. Now I figure out, I hold it out here, see where it needs to go in. Push it all the way through, where it's straight. And hook it back. Oh, I say that. One more time. Let's come a little farther down. There we go. Just barely get it hooked. And now got it. This one is not going to be as weedless. You can push it back up if you want to and just fish it like that, and that way when the fish comes and bites, he'll set the hook into his mouth that way. But it's just a different look. And like I said, the Texas rig is extremely versatile. So as you can tell, I mean, I fish Texas rig on all kinds of different soft plastics and caught fish on them. So I don't want to say there's no wrong soft plastic to throw on a Texas rig, but it's pretty close to being true. You know, I might not throw like a swim bait on a soft plastic because swim bait's meant to swim through the water, not be drug along the bottom. But if it looks like any kind of creature or a giant worm or anything like that, it is intended to be used on Texas rig, and it will catch fish. Be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite soft plastic is. To be honest, it's between these two. For Texas rigging, it's between these two for me. I love a lizard. I've caught a bunch of bass off of a black lizard especially, and I've caught some really big bass off of these giant 12-inch worms. So those are my two favorites, but you guys let me know what your favorite Texas rig soft plastic is in the comments. So fishing the Texas rig, number one, as you can tell, it's super simple to set up. It's also really simple to fish. You're gonna cast it out there, you're gonna let it sink to the bottom, reel up your slack, drag it along the bottom, reel up your slack, drag it along the bottom, reel up your slack, drag it along the bottom. You can bounce it off the bottom, so you're gonna cast it out there, let it sink all the ways, pop, 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 let it sink, reel in your slack, pop, 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 reel in your slack, and just keep doing that. You can cast and slowly reel it, and it just, you gotta figure out what the fish want for the day, to be honest. But it's not like it's really complicated. I mean, you can figure it out pretty quick, casting it out there and reeling. You know, if you happen to cast out and reel it back really fast and you get a bite, do it again and see if you get another bite. If not, slow back down, dragging it on the bottom, or popping it over limbs, rocks, whatever kind of brush and vegetation you got around. It's actually really effective in the weeds, and even in murky water you wouldn't think that this is all that effective, but it puts off enough vibration, even with a curly-tailed worm or even a Cinco, believe it or not, puts off enough that bass will come and find it. And if you rig it correctly, like I showed you, it's weedless, so you don't have to worry about getting hung in the weeds or around brush piles and docks and everything else. You can throw it up underneath the dock, which there's better ways to fish a dock, but if that's what they're biting on, throw it up underneath the dock, let it sink to the bottom, and you don't got to worry about snagging on, whatever they've put underneath their dock. So that is how to fish a Texas rig. It's not complicated. I don't like to make things overly complicated. The best thing I can tell you is get out there and fish it and make mistakes, because then you can learn from those mistakes. And that's how I learn the best, is actually going out there and fishing with it. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe and share this with a friend. Introduce somebody new to fishing and show them this video. And as always, don't forget, education is important, but fishing is essential.